Hello everybody and welcome to our Women in Leadership Program information session. This is all about realising your leadership aspirations in 2022. My name is Claire Braund and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Women on Boards, co-host of the Women in Leadership Program. My background is in fact in journalism and PR. I then set up Women on Boards after a bit of a various career in publishing and a couple of other things. And I now chair the Central Coast Conservatorium of Music. So I'm joined on the program by Angela. Ange is the administrator manager of the Women in Leadership Program. She's the go-to person for all of the communication, sets up all the sessions, all the online training platform. So it's really well resourced, this program, in terms of the admin element. And of course, the other person on the call is the co-facilitator and presenter and sort of, in a way, some of the brains behind this project, Sheena Wilson.
I'm Sheena Wilson, and for the past 8 years, I've worked in a portfolio capacity as a non-executive director, as a management consultant, and also an executive and board coach. My executive career pre-portfolio life involved combination of senior people and culture and OD roles, general management roles, including 2 country CEO positions, operations management and management consulting. And much of that was working internationally in the USA, the UK, wider Europe, New Zealand and Asia, and included career transitions from engineering to management consulting to BPO and ultimately to banking and financial services. I was 12 years, or actually just over 12 years, with the Bank of New York Mellon, or BNY Mellon, including 3 years as CEO for BNY Mellon India on the ground, which was in Pune, which was a phenomenal opportunity to combine a sort of a deep operations management and HR background, and the most favorite role of my entire career to date. And that was followed by 5 years as global head of talent strategy for BNY Mellon. So all the good bits of HR, if you like, before heading home to Australia in 2014. And in a portfolio capacity, these days I'm deputy chair of Australia's largest homegrown independent property valuation firm across all asset classes, and consult in and coach in the private and public sectors across a range of industries, and also in the NGO and higher education arenas, both locally and internationally. And of course, get to work with Women on Boards on programs such as this, which I think are really terrific and certainly fill a space that is much needed.
A lot of the work that underpins the Women in Leadership Program has in fact come through that huge wisdom that Sheena has gleaned across her career. And we have a number of other presenters coming in as well, many of them very senior women, because it just takes that much time to get kind of that knowledge under your belt. And so really helpful. And we are very grateful at WOB that in fact they're so willing to share that with everyone. So what is the purpose of this program? Well, it's about taking charge of your personal career management in order to achieve leadership and board roles. That's kind of the signature statement. It's actually a lot more than that. It's really about a much deeper dive and an understanding of who you are, of how you can take charge of your career. Have you just been wandering along? Has it been happenstance? Have you been purposeful? Is your planning going in the right direction? Are you getting derailed? And it can be planning around any sort of leadership roles. As I said earlier, community leadership roles. It can be leadership within the organisation. It can be leadership across a non-profit, corporate, international. Essentially, the principles for looking at it are the same, and we help you work through that with a series of exercises. It can be board roles. It can be also committee roles, advisory, all sorts of different things. But really at its heart is your personal career management plan, getting you to take charge of your career and to have a look at it. And so one of the reasons we always say is that it's about developing communication, influencing and problem solving skills. I don't know whether you've seen it, but they're rewriting the school curriculum again, and they're putting the focus back on problem solving and off just experience, which in my view is absolutely brilliant because it is one of the absolutely great skills. So if you're like me and you sort of, or I'm younger and you came through a time when the curriculum was ebbing and flowing a bit, it'll be really positive news. So communication, influencing, and problem solving, critical aspects to anyone who wants to maintain leadership and maintain leadership positions and move through to boards. Influencing particularly, because that's the one big thing that you do on a board. You don't run the company, but you exercise influence, wisdom and judgment and influence. And so how do you do that? Building your capability outside your technical knowledge. We're all assuming that you are technically highly competent in whatever you do, whether you're an accountant or an engineer or a financier or doctor or dentist or an anaesthetist, whatever you happen to be. We know that you've ticked those boxes. And there are endless umpteen programs and professional development tracks for you to go on, and which your organisation, I'm assuming, will have put you on or you would have actually taken. But so much is now focused on that technical competency as well. But you've got to broaden that. So what is your capability beyond the technical? Because it's that that's going to really help you to achieve and succeed in those key leadership roles. I'm going to ask Sheena to comment on this one because the critical personal career management skills, Sheena will tell you that from across her career, they have been absolutely some of the key things, Sheena, haven't they? Understanding and being able to develop those critical career management skills.
Yeah, and I think, and there's probably a slide later on, Claire, but you don't need to go there now. But really do believe that having a really solid understanding and self-awareness about who you are, what you're good at, what you need to keep working on, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there, what support you need, who's helping you, who's in your corner, absolutely key to managing your career. And that's really, my role in this, principal role in this program is to help everybody in terms of their own personal career management, which, by the way, as you all would all know, it's not a once and done choice. We shouldn't be exiting the school system or the university system focused or thinking that we're just going to be doing one thing for the rest of our lives. Some people do, but many people transition throughout their careers, and that's all part of the adventure. Really good personal career management involves continual discovery, refinement, and the ability to really articulate to others our knowledge, our skills, our experience, and the preferences we have for work succinctly. It requires a really focused understanding of our interests, our ambitions, and the choices that are available to us. We learn from the past. What did we enjoy in the past? What didn't we enjoy? How has that informed where we are today, for good or for not so good? And more importantly, how will that inform where we go? And the reason that self-awareness and that critical personal understanding is so important is that, opportunities present themselves often, but we sometimes miss them because we haven't really been thinking about this stuff. As I'm sure you all know, careers are rarely straight lines these days. There will be bumps and twists and turns that we have to navigate, and we need to be really, really thoughtful about personal strategies to access career opportunities and successfully navigate through our career life. So in the context of career management, the key message for this particular program is that self-awareness is the greatest skill we can have. And that requires deep thinking. It requires listening to ourselves and to others about what we do well, what we don't do so well, what we enjoy most, what we really don't enjoy, what we're brilliant at, what unique skills and approaches to work that we bring, and those sorts of things. And then taking all of that on board and doing something with it. And the next most important skill after self-awareness is that we must develop with respect to career management is that ability to very clearly articulate who we are, what we want to do next, and what we can bring to the table in that regard. Claire, I might leave it there for now.
Thank you, Sheena. We will touch on some of those later, but it's about a refresh really and a reset. Interestingly, I've done this course now. I'm thinking this is my 7th run when I start now, and I'm still doing this. So my one pager, which you'll see in a second, I'm still refining, and I've been working with Sheena for a very long time, and it takes time. It's not a once and done thing. So just to give you a quick oversight of some of the logistics, it's virtual online learning. It's like this, via interactive Zoom, 9 modules, 90 minutes each, held weekly. A maximum of 30 participants, so that we only take 30. You get the workbook with the program. It's actually more now, we've actually moved most of it to the online learning platform, but it's the same type of thing. And the online training platform with access to materials, the additional resources, that's really easy to use. That's between sessions. We keep homework to a minimum really with this, because the additional time required for people can be quite hard. So there's some things that we say you really should do, and there's some additional resources which are there if you have time. So don't think that you've sort of got to spend, an hour and a half here and then 5 hours to meet whatever the competencies are these days for courses, which I read the other day, a unit in one MBA was going to be 204 hours. I thought that's 5.5 full-time equivalent weeks of people's time. I'm not sure what planet some of these universities are on, but anyway, that's beside the point. Career planning tool that's built throughout the program. You get an output, which is your plan on a page, and you get it at the end. You get mail at the end, like in your letterbox. It's not a bill. It's not a circular from your local member. It is, in fact, something really useful. You will actually get a one-pager. I'm just trying to find where mine is. I think it's at home. And so you've got a laminated one-pager, and that's your kind of cheat sheet that you take with you. Now, you can update it, of course, but it is, in fact, something which defines the end of what you have done here. You also get a personal mentoring one-to-one session with either Sheena or one of the other 2 program mentors as part of the program. So that's all included within the program. These are the modules. So module 1 obviously is a sort of a welcome space. Module 2 is when we get into the real meat of the program around the key elements of career management. Module 3, we have a great time with Mariette Roops-Donnelly, who joins us from the York Peninsula in South Australia, former star of Evita and various musicals and things. Brilliant in how you translate, and she has translated what she knows about voice and presentation from the stage to the corporate world. And she does a fabulous job literally getting you to understand that it's about how you present, not just the what around your presenting as well. And out of that, we have a little exercise which springs to module 7. And on module 7, you actually do a presentation. So you do a Zoom presentation, so it's live, and you get immediate feedback. It's a very secure, safe space, and it's really just about an assessment and feedback. You don't get marked or anything like that. But what you do is you get some feedback on how you can improve. And so it's a 2 to 3 minute presentation and around the one pager. So it helps you talk to the materials that you are putting down. Module 4, currently going through a redesign, which will be really good. Understanding the difference between being strategic and operational, how you put the big strategy piece together. And that's been done by Gillian McPhee, who's also the other coach on the program, the other mentor on the program, and she's pulling that together for us. Ruth and I jump in on module 5 on building your toolkit for the boardroom. Ruth Med, the co-founder of WAB, that's a bit of fun. Then we look at module 6, back to Sheena again, who really looks and drills into who's helping you. The performance management and the value of coaches, mentors, and sponsors. She has a great panel for that, and that's a really good and really meaty session. As I said, module 7 is presentation day. Module 8, we start to really, look, we're getting towards the end of pulling together the one piece of paper, and I'll show you that. Sheena will walk us through that shortly. And then module 9 is bringing it all together. It all hangs together, so it's difficult to miss them. We do record them, and you can get them if you have to step out. But if you're going to take this time to invest in yourself, I suggest you put a note on your office door or your virtual office door and say out for lunch for an hour and a half. This is my time and I'm investing in me, and I'll see you at 1:30. It is run in ADT, so Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Please remember those of you who are in other states, just awareness of that. So these are some of the benefits. The awareness of how to employ critical career thinking. We've got a whole list of those. I think one of the really big ones that comes out for me is the confidence in your capability. The amount of people that have come to us afterwards or spoken during the program and said that one of the big things that they got was confidence in their own capability and a deeper awareness of understanding. Also, ownership of your own career narrative. As opposed to having somebody else seems to be driving it for you, you're taking it back. It's your ownership of the own narrative. The other thing is a bit of broadening. Any of you thinking about advisory or committee roles or portfolio career, or thinking about sort of saying, I want to get out of the doing and I want to get into the leading, or I want to get out of the doing and the leading and I want to move to start to segue through to boards. It's how to manage up, report to, engage with leadership and boards. Many of you will be strategic. It's just that you're not appearing to be strategic. So it's also about how you understand that you need to think and act strategically. So those types of things as well. And of course, improved presentation skills in a really nice, fun environment. Sheena, I'm going to hand over to you to comment on anything that you think. You've talked a lot about self-awareness. It really is the kind of big, deep core of the program, isn't it?
It is the deep core, Claire, and really, and I think you touched on it at the very beginning. A lot of what this program is about is helping everybody to differentiate, to understand the importance of differentiating between good luck and good management in terms of their career success. We talk about happenstance, and that is, you know, some of you may be interested to know is an actual theory of career development, but it's one of many, and really shouldn't be relied on as the only approach. We can probably all identify, you know, moments of happenstance historically that have helped us in some way, but it's really not a good go forward strategy. So really the purpose and the one pager, which I think, Claire, there might be a blank, empty copy on the next page. This is really the crux of it. And your one pager at the end of the program won't look quite so, well, it may, but you can make this as fancy and in whatever shape and format you like. But this is just as a guide here. We work through this from module 1 right through to the end of the program. And this is a critical thinking tool to help you, you know, get to that point where you feel confident that you've got the awareness you need, and more importantly, the ability to really articulate who you are, what you bring, and where you want to go. It's not again, this is not a once and done tool, but we share and work through this. We'll share, Claire and I will certainly share our own examples. You'll work through this progressively throughout the program. And we want you at the end of this to be able to really confidently articulate your story, your narrative, such that others can help you. And that's the whole point. The one pager, I mean, it looks really innocuous here, 12 blank boxes on a page, pretty boring. Mine's all fancy and it's shrunk down to postcard size, and we would encourage you to do that. And that really is the running project throughout.